Hello there, my friends, and welcome. I'm Kate in the Nest, and it is Wednesday here, and I promised that I would try and do a KiN update weekly, and here we go. So it looks like I've done nothing but KiN um, prompts for the last 3 videos, but after this I will leave it and I will do some other content. But I do again have to say I am very excited to have you here with me, and by the look of the comments there's quite a few of you interested. So before we dig in, I want to say I hope you are well. Please have something to stitch along. You have no idea how much it cheers me to read about what you are creating and making and what you're doing as you listen to me. So of course it doesn't have to be stitching. So as we speak, it is a very warm summer's day here. In fact, we are in a heat wave. So I've just literally dived out because you would know that we are doing the Hope Tote. And this week's prompt is flowers starting with H. So from my garden, literally to you, is one of the very strong and longest lasting, because she's been in the shade, is a hydrangea. Now, I have been thrilled that I've had more different colors this season than ever before. And just if it's not too close, look at that pretty little bluish purple bit. This is one of the more modern varieties. Please don't ask me what it is. But I've got a story about hydrangeas in a moment when we actually get to my tote. But so that's from my heart to yours, my garden to yours. Okay, so you may not want to do flowers on your tote. That is okay. You may have already sailed ahead. I've had to stop myself a little bit, but I did know that I was a little bit limited in my thoughts about flowers that start with H. So I went to this book, which I've shown you many times before, Biblioflora, A Celebration of Floral Beauty in Botanical Art. You've seen how I've used this before, and I suppose what I'm thinking in my gardens, can you see that, is this idea always of the flowers going everywhere, and then I'm thinking that's a hibiscus tucked in there. Yeah, pretty much. If it's not, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this book is, I better show you, where's the front page? Doesn't have an author. Smith Street Books. Claude Monet, I Must Have Flowers Always and Always. We went to the art gallery in Canberra this morning and saw a Monet. So there it is, it's a collection. So that is the book that I'm getting out. But what I love about this is, in times like this, when I need flowers that start with a particular name, this is alphabetical. So here's the first one. That might be hard to stitch or fun to stitch. I'm not going to do this one. Hymanthus or Haymanthus. And its other name is a paintbrush lily. Now this is what I was thrilled about. And this will come as no surprise. I'm so excited to see this because the sunflower's real name is Helianthus annis, I think. So who knew that the sunflower starts with H? And there's a lovely poem there by William Blake. So I can easily do sunflowers. I was trying to be a little bit more literal with the H. Helleborus, they're the winter roses, we call them here, or I call them a Christmas rose, and mine aren't out now, but I think I showed you one of these. So a hellebore is probably a flower that we see often. And hibiscus, these are two sorts of hibiscus. Look at the difference in the leaves and the size of them. So here we are, we're starting a slow stitching video with flowers, but they all go together, don't they? And they bring us joy. Oh, and now I'm off the hook. I never thought of this. The hyacinth, and I've got one already, and I didn't even realize that. So another hibiscus over here. So it depends if you are doing your Hope Tote to a particular color scheme or this side. This is, here you can see that you could add in the blues. We're still going. So these two are hydrangeas. This one is in the pinky. This one's a very different one. It's called an oak leaf hydrangea. And mine, just a bit of observation, how many petals? They're sort of layered, and that's what's beautiful. I wouldn't mind making some 3D flowers. Have you done that? I was thinking of embroidering, but I'll get to that in a minute. Have we run out of H's? Yes, we have. So that's as far. So if you're stuck with ideas, there'll be others, because I know a lovely subscriber has already suggested some. But the surprise package is, this is a lily with all dangly things, sort of like a dandelion. Sunflower. Starts with H. If I'm going to use that, I need to helianthus, I think. The hellebore, the hibiscuses, there's 3 different sorts there, and a hyacinth, and the hydrangea. So it serves me right for just only thinking of hydrangea. So I'll use that book often in this prompt. Okay, so now to my Tote of Hope, or the Hope Tote, whichever is easier for you to say. We've had a little road trip with family in the last couple of days, which has been wonderful. We're home now in time for the heat wave, so I'm delighted that we're snug in the house and don't have to go out anywhere. So the last time I was chatting to you, I had the bag and I had a hen. Now the hen, and a few of you have suggested this, that I could do things with it and use it on the pea side as poultry. The big hen's gone. I've got still a foot there, and please don't think I'm being harsh, but that could turn into a flower. I don't know. I could re-put the hen. I'm not sure, but for the moment I feel better. We still have empty sides, but the front, the H side, is starting to fill up. So I thought I'll talk you through what I've been doing. You may remember I had this big H. I thought I might have had the smaller. No, I did not. And I thought, Kate, start being a bit bold and a bit brave. So I cut out this wonky H, and it's a quilt that I bought back from India, and it's got tiny little canthus on it, and it's got these flowers that remind me of hibiscus or hydrangeas, so very messily appliqued on deliberately. And what I've been doing is putting the tote under my arm. Now, not from vanity's sake, but if I am taking this around with me, which I will, and I'm just suddenly excited because the beautiful Philippa, who is planning to come, I can't believe it, Philippa, and your friend that, maybe I shouldn't say this, but planning to travel a long way to come to one of my workshops later in 2026. And she's always said that her and her friend will be bringing their Hope Totes with them. So I am thrilled about that. And suddenly I said to my husband, I can take this all sorts of places. So just in this first 3 months, my Tote of Hope will be coming with me to Wellington in February, to Perth in March, and to Melbourne in April. So she needs to be hardy, and I'll be working on her in those months. So that thrilled me. I hadn't thought of that, but she will really be a work in progress as I travel. So this is January, the H side, and I have started layering some of the fabrics that I showed you last time. No, it's not a hyacinth, is it? But I could maybe turn that into a hyacinth. This is the original beautiful piece of linen that I showed you. I have cut off the colourful bits deliberately for the moment because, oh, sorry, I'll go back to me trying it on. I want, when it's under my arm, for the H to be seen and lots of other things. So I positioned that H there because it can be, well, it can be seen in the mirror at the front. Does that make sense? And this will be the side. So if you're someone like me and conscious of positioning, just hold your bag up against you is probably my hint. Just have a think about that. Okay, I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to, oh, here we go. I'm going to change the colour of this grey flower. I've started thread painting. I'm using a variegated perle there and a variegated wool that goes from hot pink, which starts with H, through to the yellows. And that will probably be brighter. I just thought I love this natural linen colour behind, but in my true own style, I can't go too somber when I'm talking about happy and hope. So that's a work in progress, and I'll get to my hydrangea and hyacinth ideas in a minute. So I've just layered things. Petals are up. I've chopped the yellow flower in half so that I can use it on another part. So a mixture of collage so far and embroidery and thread painting and just experimenting, which is the way that we'll build it up. The other thing I said, it was about challenging ourselves when we make a new project. So I have done my first ever embroidered word, and I think it's so fitting that it is the word hope. Now, I was going to practice, and indeed I have been practicing. I did it in red first, and if I could find that, I would show you. But my husband liked it in black. I'm not sure. It might have 1,000 hopes all over it, but my idea is that text will form a part. And I decided, like, let's not be perfect. Sometimes hope is wobbly. So I've put it in, I haven't stitched it, but there's a blank space here. I thought of going hope like this, and this is all ideas for you. We could go hope up there, and I still may do that, but because this is my first one, I thought somewhere in there might go something else. And because I am always upfront with you, I have started to practice some quotes that fit with hope. And I think I said right from the beginning that this is a travelling story that sparks information and curiosity. So I'm going to add quotes to the tote. The tote of hope. Sorry if that's just rhyming all too much and you're getting sick of it. Okay, so let's just pin that in there. If you're coming in to this, I've got an introduction and then episode 1. And now this will be episode 2, and we'll go every Wednesday-ish, whenever I can. But do not let that stop you from going ahead, right? Just, I've layered here and I've still got 3 things I'm going to suggest that we add to it. But I find I have to have a foundation before I can add anything. Okay, so let's go to my idea of hydrangeas. This is a beautiful book. I have gone through all my daisies. Oh, all my daisies, all my doilies. See, I was thinking all my doilies, and so far I haven't come across one with hydrangeas. So it seems to me that I'm going to have to find a fabric in my stash that has hydrangeas on it, or start from scratch. And I'm getting better because I have bought the stick and stitch fabric that you can draw on and then you iron it on or stitch it on. Anyway, you embroider and then it dissolves. So I'm thinking, just have to put your imagination hat on, that in this area down here that is still bare, that will have a hydrangea, and probably more in the pinker than the light, but I'm not sure. Hang on, another break for a hay fever sneeze, which won't come when I want it. So start to imagine the garden and hydrangeas. If I can work it, they will cover some of this green leaves because I think there's too much of that there. The other thing I came across just when I was going out to pick my hydrangea from the garden, look at that beautiful colour. Look at them using more and more purple colours and loving them, appreciating every colour in the garden. I got this, and it's been in the laundry for a while. I'm just going to halve it. So I got it quite a long time ago from an op shop. I actually think it was in Canberra before the one that I used to close down. And I just looked at it as I passed by and I thought those colours, let's see what it was. It was some sort of shirred. I think it was from Zara, if I'm, like, originally. I didn't buy it from Zara. Oh yeah, there you are, Zara. And it's a shirred top. And look at that texture. And I'm starting to see that that could be used across this bag as, you know, a frill or an edging. And it's just pure garden. I just thought, oh my gosh, that was meant to be. And the other thing, apart from the shirring, shall we just cut the shirring? Well, let's just cut this here. I should have cut it up a little bit because I think it was actually a one-shouldered, like a shirred top with a sleeve. Because look at the fabric. Here is what we can see that it was originally. So big, bold, abstract flowers. The frill I can use somewhere. Love that. And my favorite, some elastic. Just trying to give you ideas, because we're meant to it's about sustainability and seeing things with new eyes. And I just love, like, what if eventually I use some of that on the handle? I would feel so cheery with that. Shame there's only one. But Tote of Hope. Interesting handles. But I'm off the topic. So here, if we go back to this, I'm just wondering if I can layer that down, not now, but at some point, and sort of it suggest flowers. Am I making sense? I have always loved sharing, and I just think, see, I can see a flower in there. Let's cut. Now this is where my hibiscus is meant to go. I'm just standing up, see? Oh. Well, what about if I cut a little bit here and have it just over the side? Just so I don't forget. So you never know what you're going to get when you come on here, do you? Or I come on. Let's see, that to me, I've been using my little utility pocket, is that what I called it? Oh. Pocket with purpose in the car. Took some spare needles with me, basket. Okay, let's do some stitching. They won't be hydrangeas, but for you to think of. I don't think are they foxglove? See, I need to learn. What's the other one I just said that I love, that comes out of a bulb? Yeah, you'll be shouting it at me. I'll go to the book. Hyacinth. Okay, I'm just going to have to blow the nose. And I will go through all my fabrics. So that's what I mean. I've chopped this main bit of fabric so it can go everywhere. I think we'll use this, and let's just do some thread painting. I'm gradually embellishing that yellow, and in my random way. I'm looking at the black there. I hope you don't think that's depressing. The red also looks good. I've used some red over here because I don't usually use red thread, but I had some with me. So you'll just have to stay with me and we'll see what happens. I see lots of people are releasing their prompts and their projects, so I do feel for you in a little way, like how are you going to choose what you do? I also put those down, left over from another project, and in fact I feel like putting some of those on now. This is just on not particularly good quality cotton. And I think of the hands that made it, that still needed to embroider and give these life. So I think that's what I'm, yeah, so sorry, I'll go back, finish my thoughts, Kate. Yeah, how are you choosing? And for me, as always, I just don't want you to feel pressured. And that's why I'm going to be very loose, because I can't stay to a schedule myself in terms of my stitching. If I get in the flow, I just want to keep going. All right, so we've got these beautiful little pansies. What if we do these two things at the one time? So I want the eye, and there's nothing under here really significant. So got the purple there. We want a multicolored garden. So what if Hope now nestles in this garden? This piece of cross stitch didn't have any particularly bright colors on it, but now, sorry, I have to find where I put all my pins on this side. So if you haven't seen this for a while, I've got a series of videos on it, so useful. Okay, so I've got this in here. I put a knot in it, which I'm less and less liking a knot on this piece, because I'm just going through, I'm not going all the way through to the inside, so there's lots of layers to sneak up under, like here, and then I'll just double stitch over the top of it. So it's also newsletter week. I think I had suggested that I would have it out last week on the 2nd. Now that was crazy. And again, I've just learned, like, let's not do things just because I had made up you've got to leave room for life is what I'm trying to say. But I will get it out this week, because I know quite a lot of people are waiting on information about workshops. So I'm just doing smaller over stitches on the side of this to join it to the garden, and then that's the opportunity to go straight in and embroider some of that flower, but we'll get it down first, or sort of. So lovely to chat to you. I've missed you. It's really true. So if you haven't received a newsletter, and there's no what's the word, obligation at all, but someone was asking me about what do I look like. How do I say this? I'm not deliberately, I just didn't come onto YouTube to show my face and I'm not that sort of person. So my hands, you're seeing me, but in the newsletter, I'm gradually getting a bit braver, aren't I, everyone? It will never be a lot, but it's sort of the next step, if you want, because it's not going out to everyone, it's to people I know who've made that extra step. just going to make sure that we go up over the top. And like, what I like is I just turn this around, and usually I just have a garden, and there I just saw the word hope. So it is a lovely reminder of this project. Now, if I wasn't filming, I would probably go on walkabout now and come down here and, oh, why don't I? Put my needle where my mouth is. Except saying that, the blanket is making me hot. Oh, I did have a question about the wool. Just remember that, well, the thickest wool I use is 4-ply sock wool. So when I say wool, and you're perhaps in another country, I'm not talking about 8-ply. And I use needles, chenille needles, ranging from 18, which has the biggest eye, and this is a 22. So you need to be able to get your thread or yarn through without it being World War fighting. And there's no doubt it's tougher to thread than an ordinary DMC. Okay, there's a little flower there. Let's go over here. In here and up there, and the variegation does the work. So this is going to end up being a cute little orange flower. I'll get rid of all those threads in a minute, and I don't need that pin now. Let's go up there. I usually do 5. Now this one looks like it needs 6. And because I've still got some space there, change my mind. Let's just do a flower here. And this is part of the joy of this style of creation. You start out with all these white bits, and gradually you'll still have white bits left, or you might tea dye them, but I love that the original embroidery stays, but it gets enhanced. All right, so without making you really dizzy, there we are. So we've got 3 flowers in there, and now my job is to get myself back up here and I'm just going to do little seed stitches, which is just a little random stitch in any direction. And we'll go up here, and that will join this on here. It doesn't matter if they're big or small. It's random, like a garden, like a weed. I often think my my seed stitches are. They're the weeds in between the pretty flowers. Oh, that was a huge one. Okay, so that was a mistake, everyone. So to fix it, I'm going to make that a flower over the top of the leaf. So that's like the double petal into the center, up, oh, So we're improvising a never heard of before flower. I didn't want that one to be that big either. I think I might have to go join the family fun in a minute. I can hear laughter and giggles. The hot pink end of this wool is coming in right, exactly the right place. So we'll just go over here, down there, and just anchor it in between. So if we have a look, we've got our H corner, we've got our little random pops of colour. In the midst of that beautiful blush pink and brown. And we're just going to go over and over. Now, the big question is, there's it without hope. Here is hope. Is it black? Or is it red? You know, I think I'm going to wait on that. Because I'm just, you know, there are all sorts of things emerging and I don't want to go in. But it's not going to be the main one, Kate. Like this, I have ideas that there's going to be phrases and things everywhere. I've got a place there for a beautiful flower as well. So much fun. But I think I'm going to stop there. I'll step away and have a think. And please don't worry about that space. How about I put the real hydrangea there? Just the final view that I have managed to. Okay, how about that? I'm cheating a little bit. So we're on our way. January has just begun, so we've got lots of time to have fun and play with this side, which is the H side. So far, hearts, of course. I've been embellishing them, but I think they will come on later. Okay, so in a nutshell, we've got H, we've got hope, we've got a flower starting with H, and we've got hearts. I hope that's enough to keep you going until I see you again next time, which will be in about a week. Okay, please take care, have fun, whatever you're making. Just enjoy, and you know, sorry, I've gone wordless because I'm so grateful to have you. Okay, bye for now.